Ann Landers stated and related the following story in one of her columns. A professor at a world-acclaimed medical school once posed this medical situation and ethical problem to his students. Here's the family history. The father has syphilis, the mother has TB. They have had 4 children already. The first is blind, the second had died, the third is deaf, and the fourth has TB. The mother is now again pregnant, and she comes to you for advice. Now she is willing to have an abortion if you would recommend it. So the professor asked the students, what would your advice be? So the students gave various individual opinions to what their advice would be to this woman. And so then he asked the students to break into small groups for a consultation over this matter. And so they came back and all the groups explained and affirmed that they would recommend this woman to have an abortion. Congratulations, the professor said. You just took the life of Beethoven. Abortion has become a critical and significant issue in religion, politics, and medicine. And after examining the affair of abortion, I have come to the verdict that abortion is an unethical and shameless practice based upon 2 things. Number 1, it's based on deficient premises, and number 2, it does not confirm basic historical religious beliefs. According to Dr. Norman L. Geisler, there are 3 basic positions on abortion, and they all center on the question if the unborn is truly human or not. Now, the first position is that the unborn is fully human, and these groups say that abortion is never permissible. The second group believes that the unborn is potentially human, meaning that abortion is sometimes permissible. And the third group believes that the unborn is subhuman, meaning that abortion is always permissible. Now, individuals who affirm that abortion is, or the unborn as potentially human or subhuman, base their conclusions on deficient, inadequate scientific premises, foundations. Scientific evidence confirms that the unborn are fully human. Dr. Geisler chronicles that it is a genetic fact that the unborn are fully human. And also that at the time of fertilization, that the ovum is 100% human, and that from that very moment, all the genetic information is present in the fertilization and conception. Moreover, all physical characteristics are contained in that genetic code, which is present at conception, and even the sex of the individual child is already determined at fertilization, at conception. In addition to their defective scientific premise, their philosophical premise is also insufficient. Dr. Geisler discloses that no one disputes that human embryos come from human parents. Why then should anyone argue that a human embryo is not human when no biologists have any difficulty in identifying an unborn pig as a pig or an unborn horse as a horse? Furthermore, their sociological premise is faulty. Countless individuals who support abortion as sometimes or always permissible claim that abortion alleviates society of burdens. However, abortion actually places stress upon society. Dean Stratton relates that human beings have instrumental value, like a car, like a book, like a computer, like a peach. It has value because it can produce and contribute something to society. Corresponding with his perspective, Dr. Geisler imparts that each person has economic value, and that should warrant the preservation of life of the unborn. You see, the economical value of each individual is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over a span of a person's lifetime. And due to the act and practice of abortion depleting the work population, it will undermine the economic stability, it will deplete federal funds, and ultimately bankrupt Social Security. In addition to evaluating the premise of abortion, we must also explore how the two positions that allow abortion are not consistent with historical religious beliefs. Though sadly many mainstream bioethical discussions ignore or exclude the beliefs of historical religions, Jonathan Brockhoff in the Journal of Religious Ethics emphasizes the importance of religious traditions in regards to making responsible ethical decisions. Moreover, he sees religious guidance as even more essential due to the technological advances in our society today. In examining the major world religions, we would understand and realize that Western and Eastern religions disapprove of the practice of abortion. Barbara Smith in the Japanese Journal of Religious Studies details how Buddhists teach that human life begins at the instant of conception, and that the issue of abortion is the issue of taking a real human life. In like manner, Jonathan Brockhoff expresses that Muslims traditionally condemn abortion because they believe a human person is a combination of matter and spirit, and that the act of abortion has an effect upon the foundation of Islamic society, the family. Also, Stanley J. Conrad in the Conrad Grebel Review divulges that Christianity condemns abortion because all creatures have value and meaning due to God's gift to them, and that God calls upon society and the individuals of society to recognize the value and meaning that God has given to His creatures. Now, this perspective is also consistent with Dr. Dennis Hollicher's perspective that human beings have intrinsic value due to their unique connection with God, which demands of us to treat human beings with value, not dependent on physical or cognitive capabilities. In conjunction with Christianity, Y. Marco Barlane presents that even Rabbinic Judaism agrees with Christian morality. Now, in accepting these realities about abortion, how should we respond? In considering the upcoming 2012 elections and the dilemmas that face the United States of America that we are encountering now, we as citizens must take into account the ethical stances of the candidates that are coming before us. And we need to make sure that we agree with their ethical stances before we place our approval upon them. However, we are a small group, and you might ask the following: how can we as a small group determine the outcome of such an immense election? I believe an avenue in which we can turn to in order to impact others is by the new movie entitled 180 by Ray Comfort. I encourage you to visit 180movie.com or www.heartchanger.com and to invite your family, your friends, your neighbors, and co-workers to watch this compelling documentary about abortion. And in this documentary, it compares abortion with the Holocaust of the 1930s and 40s. So I believe we can make a difference in our society and determine that we will not allow the practice of abortion to continue in our society due to ignorance.